also. Okay, compound tariff is a combination of specific and ad valorem. You are remembering that specific tariff is a tariff for the weight of the commodity. Ad valorem is on the value. So when dono mix karta hai, that is known as compound tariff. That is, itna weight tak maine usi din example diya. Suppose that we are importing gold. For example, 3 kilo of gold. We will be charging at specific because weight के ऊपर उसके आगे जो आता है वो वैल्यू के ऊपर चार्ज करेगा. That is known as compound tariff. Okay. Let me just ये थोड़ा नीचे लाने दो. Now we are discussing tariff rates quota. This is the types of tariff. Tariff, ये देखो tariff rate quota. ये देखो, what is tariff rate quota, children? Lower tariff rate up to the initial quantity of import. ये देखिए, this is important. Suppose that you are importing say 2 tons of say cotton. Let us assume. So first 1 ton के लिए tariff low होगा. Okay. Then वो कोटा हो गया, उसके आगे का जो आता है उसके लिए हाई टैरिफ लगाएगा. For example, I am importing 2 tons of cotton. Let us assume cotton, so we are not importing, it's only an example. So up to 1 ton, tariff will be low. Tariff will be low. After 1 ton, बाकी ऊपर का जो 1 ton है, उधर the tariff will be high. That is the meaning of tariff quota. Now we are going to classify on the basis of purpose. मतलब कौन सा purpose के लिए हमने impose किया है tariff. First one is revenue tariff. The word itself is explaining. Tariffs are imposed to generate revenue. This is something that you have to remember. Government क्यों tariff impose करता है? Government is imposing the tariff basically to create the revenue. Okay, so the very basic purpose of the tariff is to create revenue to the government. Developing country depends more on the indirect tax for revenue collection because people have the capacity to pay direct tax is limited. ये हमने इंडिया का केस में देखा. India is depending more on GST. India is depending more on excise duty or custom duty, which are all indirect taxes. Because direct tax pay करने वाला लोग कम है. The reason is either the income of the people is low, or second possibility is people are evading the tax. Children, you are remembering there are 2 types of tax. One is direct and indirect tax. As far as a country like India, we are basically depending more on the indirect tax. Indirect tax का example है GST, custom duty and all those stuff. Why? People those who are paying direct tax is limited. Income tax जो pay करने वाला है उसका number कम है. What may be the reason? Point number 1, their income may not be high. Point number 2, they may be avoiding the tax, evading. They are not paying the tax. Import and export tariff has become important source of revenue to the government in such economy. इसलिए जब टैक्स का रेवेन्यू कम होता है, वही कंट्री में गवर्नमेंट का रेवेन्यू है टैरिफ. मतलब when you are importing the goods, you will have to pay the custom duty. So that becomes revenue to the government. Certain cases when we are exporting also we impose the tariff. So both export and import tariff becomes income to the government. Next up, the key protective tariff. What is protective tariff? Protective tariff is imposed with the primary objective to protect the domestic industry. Very, very important. Why this tariff is introduced, children? This tariff is imposed to protect the domestic industry. घर के अंदर का जो इंडस्ट्री है उसको प्रोटेक्ट करना सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है. उसको कैसा प्रोटेक्ट कर सकता है? By importing more expensive, they are termed as protective tariff. When the government is making the import duty, more expensive, then it is known as protective tariff. Import duty ज़्यादा expensive होने पर क्या होगा? Import will become less. When import will become less, who is protected? Domestic industries are protected. So it is known as protective tariff. I am repeating, protective tariff is to protect the home industry, point number 1. So what does the government will do? They will increase the import duty. When the import duty becomes high, imports will be less. लोग import छोड़कर country का अंदर जो produce हुआ है वो खरीदेगा. That is known as protective tariff. Higher the tariff, greater is the protective effect. Government जितना ज़्यादा high tax impose करता है, high tariff import करता है, उतना ज़्यादा आपका domestic industry को protection मिलेगा. Higher the tariff, greater is the protection. Why? When the tariff is high, import will be less. When import is less, it is having protective effect on the industry. High, when the tariff is high, I hope you are understanding, otherwise tell me. Suppose tariff is nothing but custom duty. Okay. So when the tariff is high, what will happen? Import will become low. When import is low, domestic industry will be protected. Domestic industry is protected. This can be a good objective. This one. So government क्या करेगा children protective tariff में? They will increase the tariff. When they are increasing the tariff, what will happen? The protective effect will be more because they are increasing the tariff. When the protection is more, automatically import will be less. That will help the domestic industry to grow. Is it clear, children? Chat में डालो. बाकी लोग डालो. Thank you. Now classification on the basis of retaliation. Retaliation means fighting back. That is the meaning of the term retaliation, fighting back. Tariff may be imposed as a retaliation by the trading partner that initially imposes tariff on import to counter the effect of tariff. So beginning में हर country अपना industry को बचाने के लिए custom duty डालेगा. That custom duty is known as retaliatory. Retaliatory, I told you, suppose tariff बहुत कम है, ऐसा होने पर क्या होगा? Import ज़्यादा होगा. So import कम करने के लिए एक ही रास्ता पड़ा है. What is the way? Increasing the tariff. So beginning stage high tariff लगाएगा, so that people will not go for import. People will be using domestic product. That's the meaning of the term retaliatory. Retaliatory means opposing against China. So beginning में all the developing countries, they will charge high retaliatory tariff. Why? What is high retaliatory tariff, children? Tariff duty, tariff will be high. In the beginning, when the tariff is high, what will happen? Import will be less. Then import is less, then it is good for the country to produce more internally. Go through that. Did you understand what is retaliatory tariff, children? Retaliation means opposing. I told you. So beginning में country क्या करेगा? अपने industry को protect करने के लिए they will increase the tariff. So when the tariff is high, import will be less. This is what they were looking for. Now comes anti-dumping duty. Anti-dumping पढ़ो. Anti-dumping तो export में पढ़ता है. Anti-dumping क्या पढ़ा? Anti-dumping क्या है, children? Yesterday also told you dumping is a practice by the exporter of a selling product in a foreign market at a price lower than what it is charged for the product in the domestic market. Simple meaning, what is dumping? Dumping is a very clever system. For example, China is dumping goods into Indian market. What does it mean? China में वो product का price अलग होगा और India में वो product का price अलग होगा. That is dumping. Exporter is selling the product in a foreign market at a lower price. है देखो, India में कम price में sell करेगा, China में ज़्यादा price में sell करेगा. Why they are selling at a lower price in India? Because they want to capture the market. इसलिए वो लोग क्या करेगा, अपना प्राइस कम करके इंडिया में बेचेगा, ओन कंट्री में प्राइस थोड़ा ज्यादा लेगा. That is dumping. I am repeating. That means basically what happened, lower quality product dump करता है developing country में. Developing country वाला they are buying the product because it is cheaper. This is what is happening. So dumping, point number one, dumping is practiced by a foreign country. Point number two, they charge low price on import. Import पर low price charge करता है. Okay. And in their own country, they charge high price. Exporter of selling product in a foreign country. Exporter of selling product मतलब China is exporting product to India. China is exporter, India is importer. So that how do China import the goods to India? At a lower price. In China, they will be charging higher price. The practice of dumping goes against the principle of fair trade. आपको मालूम है, fair means decent. International trade means there should be decency. It is very important because you are respecting each other. एक दूसरे कंट्री को हम रेस्पेक्ट करते हैं. डंपिंग में वो रेस्पेक्ट निकल जाता है because आपके उधर जो नहीं चाहिए, that product you are giving to the developing economies. Okay, so that is why dumping is not having any ethical support. Anti-dumping tariff is imposed. What is anti-dumping tariff? In order to stop the dumping, government is imposing anti-dumping tariff. In order to stop the dumping, government is imposing anti-dumping tariff. What is the purpose of the anti-goods? What is the purpose of anti-dumping tariff? It believes that, what is the belief? It is a, anti-dumping is only a protection. Protection for what? Protecting the domestic country against the cheap imports. Take down that. The very purpose of anti-dumping is to protect the domestic industry against the cheap import. I told you, China का बहुत सारा product के ऊपर government ने ban किया. The reason is this only, they are using India as a dumping ground. पूरा product India में dump करता है. So tell me, in dumping, in anti-dumping, what does government will do? In anti-dumping, or in anti-dumping, what does the government will do? They will increase the anti-dumping duty. When they will increase the anti-dumping duty, automatically dumping will be reduced and domestic goods will be demanded. Go through the dumping and tell me, is it clear? आवाज किधर गया? So, point number 1, dumping is a practice by which developed nations try to dump their product in the developing country at a cheaper rate. This will increase their market to the developing countries. Right. So what does the government do? Government will impose anti-dumping. उसके against जाएगा. ज़्यादा anti-dumping duty लगाने पर लोग वो product लेगा नहीं. जब वो product government लोग लेगा नहीं, government 6 months तक they will wait and find out, are the people responding to anti-dumping duty? So government will increase the anti-dumping tariff so that people will be purchasing from normal things. They will not be going behind the dumped items. Okay, quickly I'm going backward. There होगा. Is it clear, children? Now the next what we will be starting is, ये तो टैरिफ नॉन टैरिफ में और कुछ है देखते हैं. Okay, we will start with non-tariff barrier. Can you see the slide? पहले हमने tariff types of tariff discuss किया, अभी non-tariff. Can you see the slide? Yes or no डालो. Okay. Abhi, I hope you can see the slide. Now we are starting with quota. First, you take down the meaning of the term quota. Quota is the one. Non-tariff barriers are the means of restricting imports through measures other than tariff. Tariff के अलावा हम कैसा import को control करते हैं, that is known as non-tariff barrier. Other than custom duty, how do we control the import? That is known as non-tariff barrier. Other than the imports, other than the custom duty, how can we control the imports? Okay, import non-tariff quota includes import quota, import license, voluntary restrictions, product standard and testing requirement. Pododa take down karo. What are the non-tariff barrier? Non-tariff barrier में first one is import quota, import license, voluntary, export restrictions, product standard, and testing of the testing requirement. So what all things are coming? Import quota, import license, voluntary export restraints. Three things are basic things. Import quota, import license, and voluntary export restraints. Okay, I'm stopping the thing, hardly 5 minutes are there.